I was just listening to a book by Deepak Chopra, and he declared in the Vedic tradition that you can, how did he say it? Let me find it. If you want to evaluate the strength of a society, evaluate the strength of its women. Think about that. I mean, behind every woman, or man, right? They say there's a strong woman, right? Because she's keeping him in that place of compassion. The world needs us. Men need us. You know, it's funny that I have probably 3/4 as many men followers than I do women. Because they want us to move up. Because they've got a lot of burden on them. They've got a lot of burden. You know, somebody's always, you know, slamming what men are doing to women. And, you know, in reality, it's about how we're showing up. Think about that. When you're standing in your power, nobody messes with you. And you don't even have to say anything. I love my grandmother was this little tiny woman, right? About my size. My dad, you know, mean. And she'd just walk up to him, never raise her voice. That's enough, Danny, sit down. Boom. And he had so much respect for her. That's what we need to understand as women, is we have that power because we're the mom to everyone. We're the mom to everyone. You know? And everybody that's misbehaving and behaving badly just needs a mom. And you know, a mom isn't going to be judgmental. She isn't going to be, you know, she's going to be thinking about objectively about what you need versus what you want. So that's not walking in that energy of like, you know, that's not where you're standing when you're that, you know, in your power as a woman, right? We've been also talking a lot about thought. And I love, Chopra said, every thought you have becomes a molecule. And you know, we can see, we've talked some about the crystal experiments where they freeze water crystals. And you can see how language affects the water. Yeah, it's pretty powerful. And you know, when you think we're, what, 75% water or something? You know, if I'm talking hateful to you, your energy, I mean, your water molecules are shifting. As mine are shifting too. As is, you know, the air around you, your critters, yeah. So every thought you have becomes a molecule. So when you think about that, when we get in these thought trains and we're thinking we don't have time, we don't have, you know, you are creating a structure that you have to live in. Jesus in the Book of Truth says, be careful building stories because then you have to live inside them. So anytime you're sitting telling a story, you know, and making declarations about yourself, that's your life. So anytime you're sitting around saying, I can't afford that. Oh, this is cheap. And you're talking about money in that way. Or you're talking about, you know, time. Oh, I'm so busy. I don't have any time. Who's got time to have fun? You know, I don't have, you know, I'm always running, blah, blah, blah. You know, that's where you're going to live. So start changing it up here, and it'll start changing here. So anytime you're thinking, I don't have enough time, say, really? What's so pressing right now? You know? What is it that is pulling me away? What are you thinking?
Well, my tummy growled.
I felt a hard thought coming from you. Yeah, so I was like, I feel a hard thought right now. Okay. Does anybody have anything you want to say before we start meditating?
What was the last thing you just said?
Earlier, sometimes I feel like when you were talking about focusing on lack, like not having enough time, but I feel like I might have the opposite problem sometimes where I'm thinking about how many opportunities I have, and or you know, seeing it more of like an abundance, but it's sometimes being that like But that's that choice part.
And I think that's where you have to figure out what kind of energy you're laying down and how well you're going to do that job. You know, because I think that we do that too. We start spreading ourselves so thin that we're not doing a great job. So then you go, okay, but if I'm laying down that energy and I'm putting out that effort, let's pick the things that I can give 100% to. And I can top out, and they're going to be, advanced that much higher because they have all of me. I'm being a fire hose versus a soaker hose. Because otherwise people are just getting a little dribble. Walk in there with all you got.
But are you like having an issue with the fact that you have all this time and you're not choosing to do anything with it? Or are there things that you could be doing that you just choose not to?
She has lots of opportunities. She does lots of things.
Yeah, just lots of things to do in terms of like, oh, work on this, or hey, we'd love to have you on board here. Would you consider applying for this position where it's like multiple ones?
And you're like, I don't think I can do that.
Yeah, and of course, like I feel like I'm.
Now Jackie says yes to most everything. Yeah.
And I feel like I'm better.
Yeah, you are.
Than I was, in that at this point, I know I don't want to be back into that world of where I did say yes to everything and I did too much. But so now it's that like, making those choices.
And I think that's where you come to that question.
A lot of them that I like, they have equal appeal to me. So then, like, if all these things have equal appeal to me, does that mean none of them are the right thing yet?
No, that means that I would ask the question, which is that am I supposed to really affect? Because we can all do a lot of things, right? But which one of these things am I meant to affect? I think that's where you put that question. Because is somebody going to... Yeah, because is somebody going to walk behind you and do a better job because they're just all in? Yeah, that's a question I ask a lot, Is this mine? And is this mine to affect? Oftentimes, if you're overcome by an emotion, or I know for myself, like being by myself a lot, I know exactly how I feel. So if I walk out the door and I'm in a group of people and suddenly I'm feeling different, first question I ask is this emotion mine?
Or are you drawing on other people's energy?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Is this mine?
Is this mine, or am I?
Or is this someone else's?
Right.
And if it's someone else's, they can have it back. Thank you very much.
I don't think I'm quite that aware.
Just start asking that question, though. I mean, truly, it's just to check in before you leave your house.
Yeah.
How am I feeling right now? Right?
Yeah.
And then you go out, and if you suddenly feel different, because the emotions that are the heaviest, sadness, trauma, depression, fear, like those are the heaviest emotions. So you walk into a room and somebody's, in a state, you're going to feel it probably. So yeah, oftentimes it's like, whoa, is this mine? Like 5 minutes ago, I was feeling joyful. So what am I, is this mine? And then the next question will be, well, am I meant to affect it? Or am I just eavesdropping? So often we're eavesdropping.